I need to ask you a question. Be curious, Drifters.
Mr. Brightside fins them off and wins again. Zardozi wins the Oaks for Jmac. The photo finish. Mr. Brightside or Romantic Warrior. The mare's going. Great guns. Fangirl. Look at her go. Fangirl. Imperatrice has got her. And raced on by Imperatrice by a length.
Overpass. More Baker's Delight in Perth.
Radina just won it, I'd say. Tom Kedden won the spring champion in a cakewalk. Without a fight, won the Caulfield Cup.
All right. What's more impressive? Can you hear it?
My headphone's not working. Isn't that impressive?
Okay.
But it's all right. I'll survive.
All right. What's more impressive then? Riding 5 winners or training a 100 to 1 pop in a Group 1?
Riding 5 winners is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, he's good.
He is very good, mate. And he, just like he has the cattle underneath him, right?
Yeah, but he lifts them.
He does.
Like Princess Rahane's.
Yeah.
In the first, like decent, like local grade horse, you know what I mean? But just gave her a 12 out of 10. Le Creek was a sensational ride.
Flat, and then she won by a length.
Like, people are saying that Mullane should have won by 10. So he's not only riding the winners, he's running like basically in the top 3 every time. Jmac we're talking about, if you're wondering. Like that Imperialist, that 2-year-old, honestly, mate, like we've seen the forecast for Eagle Farm. Broadsiding $1.70 in the JJ.
Yep.
It's about 25 degrees every single day in glorious Brisbane with, God, could I say it was perfect weather?
Oh, it was perfect track weather.
Were you ever like overheating? Because I wasn't.
No.
And it was just comfortable. It was sensational.
But I also never felt like I needed to put my hands in my pockets because they were cold.
No, it was just like real Goldilocks zone sort of stuff.
Real Goldilocks zone type areas.
Yeah.
Definitely. Just right. Imperialist, smart win. And sometimes we've seen it with the 2-year-olds, quick backup.
Mate, like broadsiding $1.70, like if he went, he is pole position in being the champion 2-year-old for me. He's just been really impressive at his last 3 or 4 runs. But $1.70, you can have him.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
A horse like this, who I think last time I checked was around $15 in the JJ. Quick backup. And yesterday was a rock hard Eagle Farm track. Probably going to get the same next week, which broadsiding is probably a bit untested. Like, happily take that bet.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, broadsiding's the one. But you're right, exactly. It's, okay, what are you doing with him then? Like, you're not laying him.
No.
And also, you can't possibly be excited about the odds. So, yeah, try and bet around him. Imperialist he's by Churchill. So, was that race yesterday? Was that a 1,500 metre race?
Yeah, so he's gonna get the mile easy.
Yeah, easy.
And broadsiding is, but also, like, you know, it's on heavy ground. Like, I don't know. He's definitely the horse to beat. But like Imperialist, like I think he's a colt on the way up.
Definitely is. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so Jmac, 5 winners. That's ultra impressive.
All right.
And then
Yellow Brick.
Lifted
Yellow Brick and people go like, oh, the Jmac tax though. It's like he rode half the cart.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you just backed him all day, you're finishing well and truly up.
Like, what else do you want? So La Creek was probably the best of them.
Yeah, it really was. And that was just her class getting her there. Look up, you know, if she's going towards a Tas Tiara, I think Jmac said, don't know about taking her back a furlong to the 1,400 metre mark, but she's not, you know, she's not a Group 1 Australian horse, Le Creek, but
no,
you know, she was better than them.
Yeah, no, better than Foxy Frida and Maracana.
Interesting silk change on Maracana yesterday.
Yeah. Full for Cindy was decent, but, you know, she's probably just not up to that weight for age grade.
Nah, definitely not. Yellow Brick going to a Stradbroke, I assume.
Yeah,
quick backup.
Let's have a look at the Stradbroke order of entry as I kind of get this up. But Yellow Brick was impressive, mate. Did everything he needed to.
Yeah.
Like, he's always had that talent.
Yeah, and look, based on the race shape, it's not like they were walking and let him have it up front. They were actually going a pretty decent pace, and he was brave enough to hold them off.
Yeah.
I'd say about Yellow Brick. He was very due for a win.
Yeah, he was. So he's 22nd in the order of entry. I don't know if he got a ballot exemption from that yesterday. Probably. I don't know. But I'm just looking at Race Australia as we speak here, drifters. But, he has 51 kilos at the time of recording, fourth up.
Not the worst.
No, I think yesterday is the day that I wanted to be with him.
Yes, mate. Yes. He was a short price, but black type odds, you're taking that for Yellow Brick on a day like yesterday.
And the thing with Yellow Brick is, like, he sometimes has a little bit of a think about it.
He does have a think about it like Think About It does.
Spud.
Yeah, Spud.
One of the great nicknames.
I tell you what, some of his owners walk around looking like Spuds, but
they congregate on the Brisbane Carnival, don't they?
They really do. There must be a few of them up here.
Yeah.
Well, look, they are in Pete last year, so God bless them. The great game. But yeah, it was an interesting day yesterday. So Jmac rides 5, all of which were like single figures.
Yeah,
and then you had a big blowout in the Oaks.
My God, Sox Nation. Let's have a look at the form of this thing, because I don't think either of us knew that this thing was in the race.
No,
and we're speaking to one of our mates after the race, right? And he's like, "Oh, I was wondering what Ciaron Maher was doing here." I was like, I was looking through the form guide, only runner. I'm like, of course he's here. Of course he did this.
Yeah.
2,200 meters. Like,
he knew.
So Sox Nation last start finished 4th behind Invincible Spy in a benchmark 72 handicap at Randwick, beating up 1.5 lengths. Before that, at the mile at Caulfield, beaten 2.5 lengths to Elphinstone into 4th. Before that, finished 5 lengths behind Vibrant Sun at the Valley. And like, she's been up forever. She's basically been in work since, I'm even going to say, like, August last year. Pretty much. Like, if you look at her last 10 runs, there's no spell there. She's just clearly a horse that appreciates being in work.
No way in hell. No way in hell. Like, there's no way in hell. And if you did, good on you.
Yeah.
Ryan
Maloney gave her a great ride.
He did. Even if there's any of the owners listening to this podcast, they probably thought no way in hell as well.
No way.
100 to 1.
I know.
Look, yeah, Peach Variety by Ryan Maloney was in the perfect spot the entire race. There looked to actually be, a decent amount of speed on in the race for the things to come from the back. It just didn't eventuate that way.
No. It's like, I think the favoured runners, i.e. Molly Bloom and Scarlet Oak, like, it wasn't their day. So Stewart's report for Scarlet Oak post-race veterinary examination revealed the filly to be making an upper respiratory noise. Now, you said as she crossed the line, you're like, I think she's coughing. Scarlet Oak, which I personally didn't see that. But what did you see?
Well, she was just her head was bowed and it was sort of over the bit, sort of just didn't look comfortable, and you could sort of see her not like lurching forward, but just sort of shaking her head a little bit, and it's like, it looks like she's coughing. Because you're right, you look at her action, and her action wasn't, she wasn't free flowing, I'd say, but yeah, her action wasn't of any particular concern.
I think we've learnt 2 things with Scarlet Oak.
Yeah,
one, being on top of the ground, a rock hard, like, good 3 track
at this stage of her career, not a jam.
No, and she's a miler, as you rightfully pointed out.
Yeah. I think so. Like, I think the proof will be in the pudding eventually with her. Like, I think as a prospect going forward, though, Drifters, like, you put a line through that race clearly, and she's still a horse with, she showed in every start before that. She's got plenty of talent. You got to remember, she only debuted like 10 weeks ago.
Exactly.
In New Zealand across the Dutch.
Well, that's the thing, right? And sometimes they're peaking at the right time in the first prep, like Amakura last year, but a lot of the time, mate, it is really, really difficult for these horses to do it all in one prep.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, she finished last. Like, it all came too quick for her, I think.
Yeah. She just didn't, at the top of the straight, Jmac asked for her to quicken, and she just stopped, and he was like, oh, okay.
Just looked after her.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she's done enough for the connection. Speaking of, my God, thank you so much for, I guess, inviting me into like the inner sanctum prior to the race.
Yeah.
For Scarlet Oak and the connections there. It was really good to meet, like, honestly, the heaviest of hitters in Australian racing.
Yeah.
It was wild.
It was wild. It was funny.
Like, Ozzy Kerr was there, John O'Neill, Noel Greenhall.
Hal. Shallow Hal. No, Greenhole. He's funny, isn't he?
Yeah.
Fucking.
Craig.
Craig. He ran a gallant second yesterday.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
A gallant second, Craig. That was wild. Yeah, that was wild. And, like, a lot of the drifters came up to me during the day and said, you're surprisingly calm. And then post-race, they said, you okay? You all good with that? I'm like, yeah.
Water off my back, off Duck's back. Mara Mount Beulah was my on top selection. So Tommy Berry said the weather over the past week or so probably played against her. A softer track would have suited her a bit better. She held her form, and I was very proud of her. Blah 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 blah. But yeah, the track was too firm for her. So she ran well at 5th. So I think she's a prospect heading forward probably. Our gold hope. I'm not really where we kind of venture into, but live odds a furlong from home, that filly would have had to have hit like black figures.
Oh, had to. Had to. If she loomed up, and you're like, cool, this thing's just going to breeze past Sox Nation and win by a length. She didn't.
No. Well, and I said to you, I'm like, there's something you can't quantify in horse racing is the will to win and being eyeballed when the chips are down. If you have a horse that can respond like that, worth its weight.
Definitely worth its weight in gold. She's a cute little filly as well, like the old little grey filly.
She looked great in the mounting up.
She looked good, really good.
Yeah, she looked fantastic.
Yeah, just wasn't meant to be. But Sox Nation, like, the thing is, she's one of those horses where does she ever win again? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Who's she by? Is she by Sweet Nation?
Sox Nation is by, where is she? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet Nation. By Commands filly. Damn.
Yeah, okay.
So
that's Scarlet Oaks, Damn Sorrows Commands as well.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah. Will she ever win again? Doesn't need to. She's got the Group 1.
Yeah.
Good on her. And Ciaron Maher, that cheeky little bugger. We were talking about it yesterday. We're talking about a lot of things about Ciaron Maher, but we were saying, I think most notably for this podcast, is he beats the bookies in big races all the fucking time.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the time. And I almost look at prior to Jenny's probably like she'd be the best horse in his stable, clearly.
Yeah.
But even so, like, she's not starting favourite. She's starting like second favourite a lot of the time.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see her
next
starting price profile.
Yeah.
Like first up over, I'm guessing probably 1,400 metres, she'll start first up.
CF4 or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. If they're targeting Cox Plate, that might be a bit too early.
But like she'll probably start favourite there, and she was beaten first up over 1400 by Mr. Brightside. But in that race, she was leading at a decent clip, but not a breakneck clip like that we've seen her do. So I think what we've learned about her is you ride her where you as the jockey, like, you know, Irish Declan would be thinking to himself, there's no way she can keep this up. And that's how you ride her. Because she can.
Declan Bates. Yeah. Mr. Bates. So, yeah, Sox Nation, congratulations if you found her. Our Gold Hope, commiserations.
Yeah.
Miss Jolene was running on really nicely in the lead up against Scarlet Oak and that Marymount Bueller form line at any old price, and she found the line nicely. But, yeah, I think the first four paid $460,000 or something. So
yeah, something absurd.
Kind of speaks volumes. Philly's on the day in the mounting yard because we're only there for the quaddy legs, but La Creek, she's not one to look at.
No, at all.
Had hips like Shakira.
Really did.
Like all over the shop.
Yeah. Like she looked fit and well.
She looked great. Her coat was glowing.
Yeah,
but her hindquarter is not fit. She has nothing there.
Bizarre. Yeah, she just, nothing special to look at all, La Creek. But she came out and got the job done. Who else stood out in the yard that we saw?
Well, I thought Foxy Frida looked good. Fall for Cindy looked fine. Osmos is a brute.
She's big horse.
Brute of a mare. Just big girl. They were probably the only ones from that race that I was really taken to. Scarlet Oak, there's not much of her.
She needs to fatten up, doesn't she?
She's a slight girl, but first prep you can understand. And I think Craig said that. It's like, God, there's not much of her, is she?
No, she's really small.
Yeah.
But yeah, she'll fill out.
Yeah, she will. And then in the last, it was great to see our old mate Marzu again.
Yep.
But Valana absolutely brained him. By 4 lengths.
He's got a weird action.
Yeah, like it was almost like after the line, he was like almost like hurdling to an extent.
He's got a very pronounced sort of prance on him. He was fantastic. He does that every so often though, Valana. And then races where you expect him to go better, he doesn't. He's a funny horse.
Well, let's have a look at what price because he'd be backing up in a Stradbroke.
Oh, of course he will be.
So what Valana? So Valana, so that was one of the exemption races. So 52.5.
He's a live chance.
Yeah.
Got to be.
Let's have a look here for futures markets. Stradbroke handicap. So we have Antino 550, amenable 6s. Benedetta, Steffi Magnetica 9s. Bella, Freedom Rally, Bella at 10s. Freedom Rally, Magic Time, Roll on High 11s. Valana 15s.
That's a bet, I think. Based on that, quick backup, 52.5 kilos.
Like Here to Shock, Nugget 17s. Samana, Yellow Brick 21s. The Inevitable 26s. Like, yeah. Like that, the market is suggesting that one of the winners is like basically from those that I've already said. I don't know. Could it be a Ruffy's year potentially?
Like there's no clear standouts. But you got to remember, Alligator Blood started at a decent price.
Yeah, I think he had 54.5 kilos, which I think about it might have had.
Yep.
He might have had 54.
Yep.
From memory. All right, let's have a look at the order of entry, right? So Bella, Benedetta, Here to Shock, Valana, Roll on High, Dream Hour, Magic Time, Antino, Cepheus, Samana, Nugget, Roots. Interesting. The Inevitable, Amenable, Steffi Magnetica, Overridge, Prince of Boom, Ozapenko, Mighty Ulysses, Stapati. That's your top 20. With Freedom Rally 21, Yellow Brick 22, Straight Ace at 23, Namazu, Where am I?
Interesting.
All that pizzazz, Zarastro, Coastwash, Colino, Aureus, Angel, Natuno, Sofrado, Waterghost, Geriatrics.
Yeah, look, I think it could be a race where something at double figures pops up. Certainly.
Roots at $51.
It's a big price.
Interesting. Because I'd have to look at her. Fascinating. Because, yeah, she's a horse with a lot of talent. She's raced well at Eagle Farm before. Ran second in the Tiara last year.
She did. She was an eye-catching run first up.
She was. And then she just mixes her form like she does. But she's been kept fresh for this. Basically, she's going to be 6 weeks between runs because she finished last in the Sangster.
Yeah.
But I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Like her first up profile, seven starts, 3 wins for 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So, yeah, I could $51. I might be having a little something.
Throw out the stumps. Yeah.
I've also been burned with this horse in futures markets, so I'll probably keep my powder dry until she's accepted.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to get that much better of a price, are you?
No.
Yeah, interesting.
Opal Ridge in the last.
Just didn't let down at all. She looked great in the yard.
She looked fantastic.
Fantastic. I think that hard deck's just not a go. She needs a bit of give. But you also made the point that she should have just been kept on ice for the Tiara.
Honestly.
She goes like a bomb fresh.
Yeah, and she finished 8th, beaten 6 lengths.
Yeah.
Like she just never let down.
No.
She beat my on top selection home though, what you need. That was a genuine throw at the stumps though.
Yeah.
Yes. I think it was like $10 on the podcast and he went out. He started 17s.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and we know nothing, but like her form profile suggests keep her fresh.
Keep her fresh, but she needs a bit of juice in the track. Not a heavy deck, but like a
genuine good 4.
Genuine good 4, soft 5 is her jam. Will she get that for the Tiara? Probably not, based on what we've seen in the forecast. So, I don't know if I could have her.
I don't think so.
On that. Not that she's a bad horse. I just think she probably needs a couple of things from a conditions perspective to be in her favour to feature.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So let's have a look at the JJ market. Broadsiding $1.70. Mr. Artemisia, $8. Bitter Creek 10s. Emilius 11s. Elmore Zillow 13s with Imperialist and Zuna. Imperialist is a bet, mate. $13.
That price, he let down really well.
He did. And he's only going to appreciate the extra 100 metres as well.
So here's a question for you. So Broadsiding was ridden by Jay Carr last week, obviously because Jmac was over in Japan, Tokyo. Broadsiding was ridden by Jmac when he won the Champagne Stakes. What happens for the JJ?
Don't know. Do you consider Jmac a Chris Waller rider over a Godolphin rider?
Yes. I would. But I think I know who he'd prefer to ride.
I reckon he'll have the choice.
Yeah.
And Jamie doesn't really ride for Chris.
No, she doesn't.
So, but if Jmac jumps off Imperialist, oh no, because Blake will be on Bitter Creek actually. Mm-hmm. So,
Tommy Berry maybe?
Craig,
yeah.
Probably Craig or Tommy, yeah.
Yep.
You don't really miss anything there. I cannot get away from Craig Williams this carnival.
Yeah. Who's Hot Nash on?
God, he's hot. He's a small man, though.
Yeah, he looked phenomenal yesterday. Nash.
Oh, tell you who keeps surprising me every time I see him is Mickey D.
He's long.
He's long.
He's a long man.
Big torso on him, but he can ride light.
He can. Do you know he's a short king? James McDonald.
Yeah,
he's a short king.
He is a short king. And I think he's taller than Katie, isn't he?
Yeah, I'd imagine so. She's a short queen.
Yeah.
These people keep popping up, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They really do. Okay, so that's the JJ market, and then that's pretty much they're the only markets there for the for
next week.
For next week. But what else do we have here? We have the Q22, obviously.
Yep.
which I'd say nominations for that will come out tomorrow. And then Brisbane Cup.
Yep.
Allegron will be awfully hard to beat, but you cannot count out Celino. He does need to find a couple of gears.
But he'll be at any old price, and that's when you back him.
Exactly. The Dane Ripper, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, Group 2, 1,300 metres. The Gunsind Classic for the 3-year-olds over a mile. The Wayne Wilson listed weight for age race over a mile. The Hinckley Handicap over 1,200 metres. The Oxlade Stakes for the 2-year-olds over 1,300.
Oh, it's going to be a fantastic day.
It always is.
Always is. Grand final day.
And we'd like to thank the good people at Neds for having us there.
Yes, 100%.
Now, one thing that I've started to do, because this is our second last podcast, I've started doing my Royal Ascot form.
Do you know any Galway form? So Royal Ascot, so what are the actual races on the Tuesday apart from the King Stand?
So the King Stand, the King Charles III Stakes now.
My apologies.
So 1,006 metres. That's like, there's 3 Group 1s on the day. There's the Queen Anne, which is the traditional start to the carnival as well. So you'll remember Frankel winning that by 11 lengths one year.
Pretty good horse.
Mate, I went on a YouTube bender last night, and I was just going. Because I was doing watching all the replays of these different horses. I have a fair idea I'm going to nail the card, but I was also Frankel just kept popping up. I'm like, I have to look at his career.
You have to show your respects.
Oh my god, he was just an absolute brute of a thing. Mate. He was an absolute weapon.
Mate, just the perfect racehorse.
Oh, he was just sensational, and it's like. Yeah, I think he had the one rider the entire time as well. So it's like that. Imagine being the guy to ride Frankel. And then I went back and watched all the Winxes, 33 in a row. Oh. It's like, I had a great time.
That's what dream Saturday nights are made of. That's what I should have done on Friday night.
So yeah, the Queen Anne over the mile, the straight mile there.
How cool is that?
It's going to be great. And then the St. James's Palace Stakes. So that's I think it's for the 3-year-olds. Straight mile again, but Paddington won that last year.
Yep.
I think Corobus won it a couple of years ago for Godolphin. So some really serious horses racing that. But basically, City of Troy, who won. Did he win the Epsom Derby?
He won the Epsom Derby, yeah. He was a champion 2-year-old, and then he won the Derby.
Yeah, so
Justify.
He won it a couple of weeks ago, I think. But the horse that actually beat him the start prior is a Godolphin horse by the name of Notable Speech. So he's going to be the favourite in that race.
Cool.
Mate, and this turn of foot on this thing is unbelievable. 4 from 4. Oof. And he's only started his career this year.
So got his nuts?
Yeah.
You'd imagine he'd be.
It would be.
Yeah.
But so there's basically 2 clear favourites. It's basically going to be a match race. Oh. I'll send you the race. So City of Troy was the favourite in this race.
So that was the mile race before the Derby, the Epsom Derby? Yep. And then, he would have been red hot favourite, failed, and then started a better price for the Derby. Yeah.
So, and basically the caller was like, oh, City of Troy's gone. And then you just see this Notable Speech on the inside just come up and brain these. But Resilient is the Without a Fight Silks. And I think there's something under the hood with this thing. So he went over to Ireland next start and won a Group 1 over there. So it's like basically these 2 absolute thoroughbreds are going to go up against each other.
They're just middle distance horses over there are just so much better.
Oh, mate. It's like, so those 2 going head to head, it's got me real excited.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah, I think Notable Speech, I'll show you the replay after this. Real good.
How good's a turn of foot? Nothing better than a wicked turn of foot.
Mate, unbelievable. And then so they're the main ones, and then there's a Coventry Stakes, which I'd say is like Royal Ascot's like Golden Slipper for the 2-year-olds.
Yep.
Now, speaking of 2-year-olds, in the Queen's Stand, in the King's Stand, the King Charles III Stakes, your favourite Big Evs. Now, Big Evs has a big engine on him.
Big Evs.
So, they do their racing differently over there. So, what I'm finding, and in their sprint races, they open it up and I feel like we do it here as well, but you never see it happen. You see it once every 5 years, I reckon.
Yeah. Yep.
2-year-olds compete against the older horses. That's what Big Evs did. Now, Big Evs failed that day. But his resumption as a 3-year-old was really nice. So his first up run was sensational, but his 2-year-old season, he was braining things in England, but he also went over to the US and did it.
The Big Evs.
Big Evs.
Well named.
Now, so the King's Stand, the King Charles III Stakes is one that I've kind of done the most form for.
Yeah.
But Big Evs he's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah.
He's like $4.60 favourite. Regionals in the market as well. To my eye, looks a bit more of a 1,200 metre horse, but the straight five.
Yeah.
You know. Now, Kurdos, because this is the race that Asfora's in, right?
Yeah.
And Asfora is 4th favourite, $9.
You got to have something on her, obviously.
Well, it was a wet Irish deck, I believe, so it doesn't suit her.
It's not a jam.
But Kurdos is the horse that beat her. Now, I don't know if it's heading there, but in one of the markets I saw him racing post, it was like $15. I'm like, hang on. And I saw some other replays of this thing. It's like, it's second up run. I think it finished 5th, but it got held up and it basically got nudged at the wrong time. Yeah. It should have won. So Kurdos is a stupid price if it heads there. It's just, I'm giddy. I'm giddy with excitement.
It's just what dreams are made of. It's bucket list shit.
So the Queen Anne in Spiral's the favourite at $4.60, but I'm big time taking her on. Mate, she got beaten by 10 lengths last start, and she's $4.60 favourite, and basically the exact same horses are there.
Doesn't make any sense.
Audience beat her, Pacemaker, but went out there and was just bullied him into the ground.
Yeah.
Ciaron is a grey horse. Looks really well suited. Should be there or thereabouts. But the one that I'll show you a replay of this thing too. His name's Big Rock.
Big Rock.
I think he's son of Gibraltar.
Yeah, okay.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
But could be suited better on heavy ground. But he won a race at Royal Ascot last year and he beat them by 10 lengths. And he's like $15 in the market. I'm like,
Big Rock.
Hang on. And
show some respect to Big Rock.
Mate, he beat Paddington by 10 lengths that day. Like, Paddington was in that field. So I'm like, okay.
So this is a serious horse.
He's a serious horse. And then you have like up-and-comers there as well who are like just going through that. They've had one listed win and it's like there could be anything.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So it's like, oh, it's going to be great.
Oh, it'll be phenomenal. It'll be phenomenal. Just having a bet with theirs.
I know.
I know.
So it's going to be.
How's the exchange rate at the moment, though? Have you been keeping an eye on that?
No.
It's not good. It's like 2-1. Fuck. So you put it on your, £20 bet. It's a significant investment.
Yeah, okay. All right. Good to know. Fuck's sake. Well, I might have my bets on like Big Evs and others like before I go.
Yeah.
But yeah, excited for that. Excited for next Saturday. Final podcast of the season will be this Wednesday.
Yes. Cannot wait. GF baby. It's always a fantastic day. Obviously, thanks to the good people at Ned's for looking after us, and a few drifters came up and said g'day yesterday. Obviously, more than welcome to come have a chat. Don't listen to our tips; they're dreadful. But always a pleasure to see you boys. So I appreciate that.
Likewise. All right, we'll see you Wednesday.
Bye.